Welcome back. You're with NDTV Profit and this is Breaking Market News. Joining us this afternoon is Krishna Prakash Maheshwari, CEO at Essel Highways. Mr. Maheshwari, thanks very much for joining us on NDTV and congratulations as you take charge of Essel Highways. Describe where the company is positioned today.
So, Essel Highways is one of the premium companies in the road sector. We have a large portfolio. We have around 14 assets in our portfolio, road assets, out of which 10 are operational, and these operational assets give us a good amount of cash flow, and 4 are under execution. So among the operational assets, we have 8 state highways and 2 national highways, and the ones under construction, we have 3 national highway projects and 1 state highway project.
And as you take charge, what are you setting as your priorities for the company?
My priorities would be to obviously grow the road portfolio, focus on business development, as well as execute the projects which are under construction in a timely manner.
You know, with the Goldman Sachs investment, what changes at the company?
So obviously we are quite delighted that Essel is the first road company in which Goldman has decided to invest, and the funds would help us, would strengthen our efforts to grow the road portfolio, and also would give us the cushion to look at some strategic acquisitions.
Okay, I'm just wondering, what is an optimum portfolio size at Essel Highways? What would you consider optimum?
I cannot put a number to that right now, but there are assets. We would continue to look at bidding for new assets which are good, as well as there are certain stressed assets available in the market. So we would continue to evaluate them and go for some strategic acquisitions if they make sense.
Okay, I'm not asking for any specifics, but just theoretically speaking, give us an idea of what would be interesting acquisitions, just the theoretical construct.
No, so we have to look at assets from all points of view. We would be interested in operational assets primarily, and those assets should be having good amount of traffic revenue and good cash flows.
Would it be challenging to find assets that meet the criteria that you just outlined?
No, I don't think. Obviously, finding good assets is a challenge, but we are up to the challenge. So we continue to evaluate various options which are presented to us, and we would make the right choice at the right time.
Okay, and what's your strategy to grow the order book? Are there any segments that you're focusing on more than others?
So we would primarily be interested in BOT projects, toll based as well as annuity based, but we would also not be averse to looking at good assets on the hybrid annuity model.
You know, this is a good time to sort of review with you the central government moves over the last 1.5 years in particular to revive the road sector. What have they yielded?
It was, and but I think the government has, the central government has done a very good job in the last 2 years. The efforts which they have undertaken, they have bore fruits. So the government, if I remember right, last 2 years the government has put in almost more than 70,000 crore in the road sector. So essentially growth in the road sector is driven by the policies of the central government as well as the state governments, and also the development push on the rural roads. And the government has taken steps to also come out with a mechanism for resolving disputes. So I think all of this put together, we are in exciting times right now. I think the future looks very promising. There's good amount of growth which is going to be there in this sector, and good for professionals like me.
Indeed. From goals to implementation, we've talked a little bit about goal setting, but when can we expect a really high growth phase to kick in at Essel Highways?
So we are already in a, I would say, in a good position today. We have 4 road projects which are under execution. The operational assets are giving us good cash flows. We are quite keen. We are one of the few companies which are keen today also to look at new assets on the BOT model, and there are stressed assets available and good ones. We would definitely look at them for acquiring them. So I think we are in the right place and at the right time.
Flag off one risk that you see to your growth projections.
I don't think that there is going to be one single factor which can derail our entire growth projections. Any business we do, there are a number of risks, and we evaluate those risks, and we take appropriate measures to counter them as and when they present. So I don't think there is any single risk which would have the ability to completely derail our growth plans and projections.
No, I didn't mean that there would be, one risk that could completely derail your growth. What I meant was that is there one risk out there that you're very conscious or cognizant of keeping an eye on?
Generally in the sector in which we operate, the major risks are at the execution stage, availability of land and ROW, and sometimes there are disputes or changes of scope, and these take some time to get resolved. But particularly on the dispute front, the central government has come out with some guidelines which would make life easier for people like us. So I think these are the risks. They are going to be there, but we will have to be smart enough to identify them early and arm ourselves appropriately to handle them.
Well, Mr. Maheshwari, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much for your time. Good talking to you today.
Thank you. Look forward. Bye-bye.
Okay, it's a wrap on the show. This is Breaking Market News signing out, but the last hour of trade is coming right up on the 2:30 Factor.